Okay, quick music disclaimer here. I do not own the rights to this music, which belongs to the rightful owner, who is the intoxicating mind of Dr. Frankenstein. So he made my intro and my outro, and I hope you guys enjoy. Check them out on Spotify and YouTube, and no copyright infringement is intended. Have a good day.
A clear choice of good versus evil, of right versus wrong.
Twisted Tales.
And welcome back to Twisted Tales, folks. Hope everybody's having an awesome Thursday. It's not a bad day. Sunny here anyway. I hope it is where you guys are. So my next tale, just a little short one I got for you today. I'm going to talk about the St. Louis Light. Now the St. Louis Light is kind of a light that's on a train, but this train isn't a normal everyday train. It's described by witnesses of St. Louis, Saskatchewan to be more of a paranormal phenomenon. Now the light kind of moves up and down, and it goes down an old railway at night, sometimes changing colors or brightness, and the railway line is actually located south of Prince Albert and north of St. Louis, Saskatchewan. Over time, the tracks actually were removed, but the occurrence still happens on a regular basis. So a lot of people actually still claim they see the lights going through the night and everything like that. So several reports and stories have poured in, and just for people to try to explain the lights and go see them because of stories they heard and shit. So the light becomes visible kind of like along the old track bed, and the track was very wicked straight, so it could have been slightly because of the size of the tracks or wooded with bush that it kind of seemed like it was floating. Now it starts off as a little glow, but it becomes visible and brighter as it moves along. Now the light itself kind of starts right at the side of the track and then slowly towards the center. So it's sometimes followed by another light, and we'll get into that too. It's actually like a red light, and it moves more right to left. So Saskatchewan and pretty much all of Canada, Alberta, Nova Scotia, Cape Breton, anywhere like Fredericton, Charlottetown, any of that, they're no strangers to ghost stories. There's lots of folklore out there, and it's cool to hear little tales like this. And all the boys send me stuff oh man, you gotta do this one, right? And I'm getting to them. I have emails, I got everything saved, and we're getting there. This is episode 41, so I mean that's pretty cool. So back into her here. I don't want to trail off. 2014. So Canada Post actually made a stamp of the St. Louis Light. Kind of like a Canadian Ghost Tales stamp collection. So it's that much of a folklore that is getting recognition, right? And even the small community, and there's only roughly 450 people, and this legend goes back a long ways. Now, a man named Edward Lugier, he actually witnessed the light, and he remembers seeing it growing up as a teenager, and he would sometimes go up the weekend, or every other weekend. So, he would stand there on the track looking south, and he'd see the light appear periodically, so it wasn't every time he went up, it was just every other time, it seems. Now, over time, the Lucier family kind of wanted to go to see the site as a whole family, so they all went for themselves. A cousin actually wanted to follow him in his own vehicle. He just wanted to try to scare the family a little bit, right? Because he didn't really believe in any of this, and neither did the parents. But Lucier's father and uncle, they started walking down the tracks, and the mom and aunt kind of stayed in the vehicle. So Edward and his cousin walked with him, and then, boom, the light showed up behind them. They didn't look behind them or anything, the father noticed it right away, because it lit up really bright. And the dad came, kind of running down the tracks where the kids were, thinking they were scared, but they were totally oblivious and they never seen it. So, I mean, it's kind of eerie, right? Some people see it when they pay attention, right? Now, St. Louis, Saskatchewan's mayor, he actually recalls seeing the light kind of it kind of reminded him as a street light from a distance. So it just got a little brighter and then got a little dimmer. And he also mentions the red light. So the red light was seen on the other side of it, kind of like the back end. Now, he remembers it as a lantern going side to side. And even the army and some university students there, they try to debunk this. And 2 students even actually got first place in one of the fairs there. So they thought they solved this. So with the experiment that they did, they found a road that lined up with the site. Now, one girl's father flashed his car lights, and the ghost train lights appeared. Now, some people kind of like drive their vehicles onto the tracks just to see the train. And usually if one does this, sometimes the vehicle kind of experiences some of the following. Now, like windshield wipers turning on by themselves, headlights begin to blink on and off, and they have engine troubles, and like the engine shutting off on its own and not restarting. Now, one report kind of states that a fire began to happen in the vehicle's alternator. Now, whether the accident was like initiated by the ghost train or like a faulty connection or just a faulty part for that matter, like could just be a coincidence, and they're usually normally pretty rare anyway, right? So it's not like the ghost train like targets anyone specific because it's a fucking ghost train, right? But more so, it happens at night, and it doesn't appear to be hostile or anything, and just kind of just gives the occurrences as we talked about earlier, like the breaking down of the car and whatnot. So, like, even St. Louis is just, like I said, it's a small town, small population, and like it's originally actually a Medes community, and it's the largest city. The smallest city, and the largest city next to it is Prince Albert, which is about 35 kilometers to the north. Some believe that the St. Louis Light has been around since 1920, as far as stories go. But there's one here, there's actually a couple, so I'll tell you about those. Now, that an engineer conductor of the Canadian National Railway, he was checking the tracks for like some issues, and he was actually struck by a train, and this resulted in him being beheaded. So they think that it's his spirit that kind of roams around the area, looking for his head. Now, around the area before the track were pulled up, it kind of seems like the phantom lantern or a headlight is the train that hit him, but can't really confirm that. Now, like, this story and reports go way back, like, some of them to the very spot, but it's mostly now become private property, so it's not, like, able to promote as much of a tourist attraction. So, like, the mayor, like I said, Mark Karen, he actually says a lot of people come to the town specifically asking where the ghost light is. And it gets the town name out there pretty quickly, and kind of like in a mysterious way, but in a good way. Like the school experiment from the 2 students, like some say it's just car headlights from a nearby road, while others believe that it actually is the mysterious ghost tale. But according to some, like, legend has it about, some people say they've seen it about 60 times. And like, another little tale is there, like, the light came to be is that, like, a railway worker would wave his lantern in the night just to signal trains that they needed to switch tracks. And a train wasn't able to stop in time, and the light of his lantern now warns others of the disaster as he was struck by the train. And one man in 1997, actually the summer of 1997, so that was actually, he was with a group of friends. Now, he heard a tale of the phantom light, so they all went up there having some drinks, and they parked in the dirt path, roughly about a half hour, and they actually seen a train coming without train tracks. So, I mean, that would pretty much scare anyone, right? So, like, they're like, what the fuck? And it terrified them, and once they started hearing the train whistles, and after that, they drove right out of there, and they never came back. And it's just pretty crazy stuff. I mean, others also kind of, they don't think that it's just car headlights, and because this was, 1920, so I mean, like, this was a little before cars were even invented, too. And to be honest, like, this phantom light tale could just be a story passed down from, like, campfire stories, or it's definitely a staple in Canadian folklore. And like many places, they have a reputation to be haunted, and like people just go hang out there. It's like, oh man, this place is haunted. We gotta go up here, right, and hang out and have a party. Now, nothing wrong with a few beers at some haunted places. We've all done that, haunted churches and whatnot. So they're just out there to have a good time. Sometimes scary stories, even about the Phantom Light, like have some drinks and try to scare each other, right? Tell them some scary tales. So that's pretty much all I got about the Phantom Light here, guys. Just a little quick tale, like I said. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little tale. And if you're ever in the area, check it out. Just be cautious, you don't lose your head. My little joke there. Alright, guys. Thanks, man. You guys take care.
Twisted Tales.